Okay, so yesterday you watched the Ed Puzzle, the volume of cones. So today we're going to take those notes. So make sure you have a pen and you're following along. Pause me as we go. You can stop it, try problems on your own, and go back and check. So the volume of a cone is 1/3 the product of the area of the base and the height of the cone. So the formula you saw yesterday was 1/3 pi r squared h, okay? So this is the area of the base, and this is your height, and then it's 1/3. Now you can do this one of two ways. You can, if you have your scientific calculator, you can multiply by 1/3, okay? Or you can do pi r squared h and then divide it by 3. Because remember, multiplying by 1/3 is the same exact thing as dividing by 3. They showed you in the video that 3 cones fit into that cylinder. And we usually do that in class to show and take guesses. Not many people guess 3 because it does seem like you would have more in there. But that is the formula as they showed you. Okay, so for number 1, we're just going to write volume equals 1/3 pi r squared h. And we're going to fill in everything we know. So we have 1/3 pi. We'll use, again, 3.14 just in case you don't have those scientific calculators. Your radius is 3, and then your height is 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my scientific calculator. 1 ABC3 times 3.14 times 3 squared, which is 9, and then times that by 4, and I get 37.68, so that would round to 37.7, and again, it's volume, how much would fit in there, so it's feet cubed. And we're going to do what we did on the 8.1 notes. We're just going to go straight down. I don't think you need to see all 6 problems. Okay, same thing, volume, 1/3 pi r squared h. Let's plug everything in. 1/3 times pi, our r is 1, so it's 1 squared, and then our height is 5. So if you want to simplify it, it's 1/3, 3.14, and 1 squared is 1, times 5 is 5. So again, if you don't have your scientific calculator, I'm going to do it the other way I showed you up here. So I'm going to do 3.14 times 5, hit enter, and then divide that by 3. And you should get about 5.2 inches cubed. So that's that one. The only difference is, see how these are all your radius, right? But if you look here, this goes straight across. Even though the 2 is on the left, it's the whole thing. So you would do volume is 1/3 pi r squared h. So we'll do 1/3 3.14. If the diameter is 2, our radius is half of that, is 1. And then our height is 1. So this is actually easier. It's 1/3 times 3.14 times 1 times 1 is just 3.14. So all you have to do is take 3.14, divide it by 3, you get 1.04. So it's just 1 millimeters cubed. If you think you need more practice, what I'm going to do is just write the answers down for these 3. So this is 29.3 centimeters cubed. It may be a little off because on the notes I did use pi. Since if we're in the classroom, we would use pi. So it may be a little off there if you try these. And then again, if you use pi and not 3.14, that would be your answer for 4. And your answer for 6 would be this here. So I do encourage you guys to try those. It's up to you though. I think that you have enough problems from yesterday and today. So you might want to pause that, try those. I'm going to continue on the back so that this isn't that long. So these are some word problems we're going to skip around. So the first one says that the volume of a cylinder is 24 pi. So think about it. The volume of your little cylinder here is 24 pi feet cubed. What is the volume of a cone having the same exact measurements? Well, the volume of a cylinder, remember, was pi r squared h. The volume of a cone is 1/3 pi r squared h. So if you remember, if you have a cylinder, how many cones would fit in that cylinder? And you should know that there are 3 cones that would fit into the cylinder. So to find the volume of the cone, you would just take the cylinder and divide by 3. So you would get 8 pi feet cubed. And in that video, he said in terms of pi, that just means pi would be in your answer. So anytime you have the volume of a cylinder, you can divide by 3 to get the cone of the same size. So if I said the volume of a cylinder, I don't know, just say 99 inches cubed. The volume of a cone, same height, same radius, would be 33 inches cubed. You would just divide by 3. Okay, so that's how they're related. 3 of these cones, 33 times 3, you plug that in to get your 99. Okay, and we're going to skip down to the last one here where it's working backwards. I know it's blurry, but it does say the volume is 225 centimeters cubed. It says that the diameter is 10 centimeters, and we want to find the height. So the first thing I would do, 1/3 pi r squared h. Now we want to plug everything in we know. We know that the volume is 225. We know that we'll use this as 3.14. The diameter is 10. So we know that the radius is half of that is 5, and we don't know our height. So what I would do first is put all of that in our calculator. So I'm going to do 1 ABC3 times 3.14 times 5 squared, which is 25. And you get about 26.17 times the height. We're multiplying, so you want to go through and divide both sides. So when you do that, 225 divided by 26.17, you should get about 8.59, so about 8.6, and it is centimeters. And it's kind of like we did with the cylinder volume when we're looking for the height. The only difference is we have that 1/3. It's the only difference, okay? The last problem we're going to do is a little bit more difficult because we're looking for the diameter. So I'm going to write this out again because it's kind of blurry. So the volume is 3.6. The height is 4.2. And we want to know what's the diameter. So let's 1/3 pi r squared h. 1/3 3.14, and our volume, I forgot to put that in, 3.6. Our radius squared, we don't know, but we do know that our height is 4.2. So what I would do is multiply all of these numbers together on the right side. So I'm going to do 1 ABC3, then I'm going to times that by pi, 3.14, and then I'm going to times that by 4.2. And I get about 4.4, but we still have our r squared. So just like over here we had h, we have an r squared. We're still going to divide both sides by 4.4. So if I take 3.6 divided by 4.4, I get 0.818. So I'm just going to say 0.82 equals r squared. Now we have to think back to our square roots. If I said 4, the square root of 4 is 2. What times itself gives you that number? So to undo something that's squared, we take the square root. So the square root of 0.82 is about 0.9. So r equals, it's like 0.91. But it's not asking us for the radius. It's asking us for the diameter. So remember, if you have a radius, you want to multiply 0.91 by 2, And then that will give you your diameter of 1.8 inches. So that there would be your final answer. So that one is a little more difficult because it involves r squared. But again, the only difference between the volume of a cylinder and the volume of a cone is that the volume of a cone is 1/3 that, or you can just divide by 3. Okay? Hopefully that was enough examples. If you have any questions, please just email me. I can go through it with you. Have a good one.